what's up everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Beyond the Gates. This is the end of season 1 and starting season 2 on this past Friday. This is the episodes of December 29th through January 2nd. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video. You can also subscribe and leave your comments below. Now let's get into these week's episodes. Okay, so first, Happy New Year to you all. 2026. It's already ghetto. But hey, we got each other, and let's just lean on each other so that we can get through this year. Alright, so we begin with Anita and Vernon. They're at the hospital. She has another checkup. She tries to put on a brave front, but admits that she's afraid. They've beaten all the odds in the past, he reminds, and they'll do it this time too, sorry. The doctor enters and says they'll be moving quickly because the cancer will be doing the same. It's the type that, because it's triple negative cancer, that stuff really spreads really fast. It might explain it in here, but what happens is that they're going to try chemotherapy to shrink the cancer so that it does not spread, and hopefully that they get it all this time. The doctor says that he can't talk about her chances of survival, but very honestly walks her through how they will fight the cancer. Chemotherapy, as I just said. A port will be put in her, and a possible lumpectomy. Not heard of the mastectomy. I don't know about the lump one. But anyway, the words leave Anita terrified, and Vernon, refusing to let her face this alone, pulls her closer, saying that he's not ready to let her go. They make promises to one another as the doctor returns to say they can schedule her port surgery later this week, which leaves the couple realizing that it's time for them to tell the family. So Eva, she gets her man. Isaiah shocks the you-know-what out of Eva by using the word girlfriend. Sure, they're moving fast, but he likes where they are. Lean in, feel it out, enjoy it, he advises. And she worries that he's not really over Yolanda. She wants reciprocal wooing and weeing, and they agree to keep getting to know one another, and just like that, they're stripping down and getting busy. They make plans to spend New Year's Eve together just before Leslie shows up on her daughter's doorsteps. And the only thing that she can say is, "What a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man." That's all you have taught your daughter. But you want to be looked at so greatly amongst these people. But before Leslie gets there, Leslie walks into the back room of the casino and tells Joey she has an offer he's going to want to accept. He asks why would he join her in funding the free clinic. He, however, isn't as respectable and thinks that she would be a lot more interesting if you'd stop worrying about the... Leslie thinks that he would be a lot more interesting if he'd stop worrying about external validation. She urges him to consider the possibilities of them teaming up. You know nothing about this man, even the time that you spent in Fairmont Crest. Or is it Fairmont? Whatever it is. And you're so quick to go join up with some thugs. You are weird, lady, but whatever. Alright, so at Uptown, Danny and Vanessa enjoy cocktails while chatting a hot new bartender. They make a bet. Can Vanessa convince him to become an escort before Danny can sign him to her modeling agency? Ultimately, he rejects both offers. He says he's got a girlfriend and actually a career. When Joey arrives, Danny beats the hasty retreat. As for Vanessa, she urges her beau to accept Leslie's offer because he tells her in regards to what Leslie was offering. A way to look better in the community. People already have this perception of you, whatever. At the club, it's almost like Vanessa wants to legitimize him. Although she does not care about Joey, it would at least look a little bit more better on the eyes on if he did have a little respectability that isn't by intimidation and what he's known for. So, whatever. That's what I'm getting. At the country club, Nicole invites Carlton to join her for lunch. It's a breezy, casual meal with both catching up on recent events, including him sharing that he had a dream in which she was Eva's... Oh, wait, what? What? I think I'm reading something I shouldn't be reading. I think this is this person. I'm reading a recap. I did watch the show, just to let you know. But I'm like, what? Basically, he said that making this like a joke about Carlton having a dream that she was Eva's parent. Even singing "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina," whatever. A bunch of fans really do believe that Eva is Nicole's child, but hey. They agreed to spend New Year's Eve together, sealing the deal with a kiss. Yeah. So that's what's going on over there, and of course, all Eva can just encourage him. You got a man to Eva. It's just so you're such a bird and a clown, and that's just what you want to be, and we're gonna let you be there. All right. So it's New Year's Eve in Uptown. That's hopping, as is this country club. But Danny and Nicole's plans are derailed when Vernon calls, asking them to swing by the mansion. While he and Anita don't ruin New Year's Eve for their daughters, the fact that her surgery is scheduled for tomorrow leaves them no choice. Sitting down with Danny and Nicole, Anita doesn't beat around the bush and tells them she's been diagnosed with cancer. Anita tells her daughters that it's triple negative cancer, which means it's particularly aggressive and has a high rate of recurrence. At the same time, Vernon is breaking the news to Andre, asking him to be there when Danny needs him. Later, Vernon joins Anita in revealing that this particular type of cancer can easily be passed along, prompting them to all vow to get tested. Later, Danny tells Andre that she's going to have to tell Bill, who'll be worried about their daughters. Vanessa and Joey go public, spending the evening arm in arm. Vanessa and Joey are definitely the talk of the town, or at least the club. While they aren't welcomed by society, he doesn't care, pulling her off for a private dance, wondering if he passed her test. He admits that he shut down when his wife died, but he couldn't keep Vanessa from stealing his heart. So this is love in paradise, true love, and all that good stuff. What do y'all think about this pairing? It's kind of like at this point of, since the writers are pushing it, I guess we got to go along with it. So at Uptown, Ashley, decked out in a blue dress she bought to make herself feel better and looking incredible. A little retail therapy, probably out of her budget, but said, hey, I need to do something to make me feel good. Finds out from Naomi that Derek is going to be at Uptown too. When he arrives, they have an awkward but not unpleasant conversation. He has a cane now. It was a gift from him. I forgot who it was from. When he arrives, they have it elsewhere at Uptown. Madison gets tipsy and Chelsea seems weirdly tense and distracted. Turns out she was waiting for special guest Kenny Lattimore, who performs his song "For You." For you, I dun 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 dun. I don't know all the words. Kat looking like $1,000,000. She did look good, even with her hair up and all that good stuff. On Thomas's arm is flying high and looking forward to the new year. Thomas didn't look too bad either. They kind of were cohesive in their outfits that they, I guess, decided to match. At the hospital, Shanice and Ted, they're having a flirty conversation when a clearly jealous Leslie interrupts. Shanice tells Ted about the progress being made on the clinic, asking him to, no, Leslie tells Ted about the progress being made on the clinic and asking him to be on the steering committee. She tries to pitch it as a family project, allowing them to work with their daughter, but he's not feeling it. He then takes great pleasure in revealing that she's been spreading false rumors about Vernon having an affair. It's ugly and there's no truth to it, he says before shutting down her flirting and walking away. Because she was trying to say, well, of course they had a way to back it up now, You should know, Ted, because you've been lying all this time. Shanice and Ted wind up having dinner together at Orford Jeans, with her urging him to move on and start his post-Nicole life. And as the ball drops, Ted pulls Shanice into a kiss. Later, Leslie gets a text from Marcel asking if she wants to get together, prompting her to ditch the club's party. So, at least something to keep her distracted, because we're really getting tired of this whole charades with this Leslie and Ted situation, and you're using this foundation to try. It's very icky, and hopefully something comes in the way that it doesn't actually come into fruition. Because if you're not in it for the right reasons, then get out of it, Leslie. So, Ted and Shanice, after deeming their kiss not bad and confirming there are no complaints, Ted seeks Shanice's advice on how to be there for his family should any of them carry the BRCA gene. This is the gene that they're talking about as far as being genetically passed down. She encourages him to be there for his children and Nicole, even though they are divorced. Because he was nervous in regards to, well, I don't really know my place since me and Nicole got married. Like, y'all still family. Y'all been a family for 20 plus years. So don't let that deter you for being there as much as they will let you be there. But you just can't stand on the sidelines and act like nothing. Like, it'll be you assuming that you can't be there for them. Just like you didn't fight for your marriage. Now, some people online really have a problem with Shanice knowing what happened, what's going on with Anita. I have concerns because Shanice is the town gossip, and the only thing that we can pray on is that she values her relationship with Ted, that she would not try to spread that type of news around. I mean, she is a medical professional, so I would think that she would not just go out and blurt that type of information, but hopefully that's how things go. But, yeah, so, but I'm glad that Ted did not tell, what's her face? Leslie. Because you know how they like to just talk so much, but I think I done skipped. I did. 1 second. It feels like I skipped. Okay. Anyways, there's a day that's missing. However, the day after that Nicole and Danny are told what's going on New Year's Day, they tell each other, they tell the children. However, with Nicole, she did stop by, not stop by, she had the children stop by, and she told Kat and Martin they want to be there for Gran. Nicole tells them about the BRCA gene. And it's also something that Martin's going to have to check out. If she tests positive for this BRCA gene, then the children should also get themselves tested out also, because it does not skip generations if it is. However, Kat is taking it a different way, and she's like, look, I'd rather just have rose-colored glasses on and not really face it. I just want to be here for my grandmother, and even if you do have the BRCA gene, I'm not going to put myself through all of that. I'm not going to get tested. And I think this is where we're going to get some good storyline out of Miss Colby. You know, I'm Team Kat anyways, but she's the one that's rebelling against this whole thing, and she's taking it a different way. People take news like this very different. And you can become extreme, you can become unpredictable, and all that good stuff. And we'll talk about that when we actually get to what I'm going to get to for Friday's episode. Anyways, after that, Nicole called Ted and said, hey, look, I think I'm going to need your help. She tells him about Anita and all that good stuff. And then she tells him about Nicole and how she's taking it. And Ted is the only one that has had a greater relationship with Kat and is able to get through to her. And she's just asking him to help her to at least see if she will come through. He does say that, look, I will try. She's still her own adult and all that good stuff. Boom. Now, with Danny goes to Bill. Haley got such an attitude, I don't understand. Haley, you act like you don't have feelings for this dude, but you're so annoyed by Danny. Are you just playing the part? Because it's overkill at this point. Because right now, we don't care about how you feel annoyed as the new wife, the trophy wife. Anyways, Danny apologized. Look, I know how this looks, and I apologize if this makes you uncomfortable. She tells him about the whole situation with Anita and all that, and she's just trying to find a game plan or even how to actually tell her daughters. It's a lot of information to be taken in. Well, Naomi and Chelsea, they go by the Grants, not knowing what was up, but they ended up having to tell, Vernon and Anita had to tell them about the cancer. Of course, that shakes them. When they finally get to Danny, they kind of just go off on Danny because, why didn't you tell me? I didn't know that. And we just walked into that whole situation, da-da-da-da-da. And Bill set things straight. I wish Bill was just that type of man this whole time for his family. Because he's like, no, look, You can feel the way that you have, and your mom can feel the way that she has. She just got this news, and she's trying to find a way to process it herself before even trying to reveal it onto you. And they all have this group hug, and they understand a lot more, and they apologize to Danny for how that they were reacting and all that. Basically, that was all that episode. Anyways, so we already talked about Ted and Shanice. Okay. At Uptown, Tomas joins a tipsy and surly Kat. She's drinking tequila on down, who confides that her grand has breast cancer. He comforts her and encourages her to drink some water instead of more tequila, because tequila makes her sick, and she's going to regret it and all that good stuff the next day. She complies, but avoids telling him about the possibility of her carrying the BRCA gene, and ignores a call from her dad. Back at the hospital, Ted tells Shanice that he wants to try to change Kat's mind about not getting tested, but he doesn't know how, considering their rocky relationship of late. Shanice offers comforting advice. He'll know what to say when the time comes. Tomas ignores a work call as he brings Kat home, but she encourages him to go back to the office. After he does, Ted drops by, not to pressure her to get tested, but to offer his support no matter what she decides. He knows that she has people her age to confide in, but he's there for her too. Kat embraces him. I will always need my daddy. And then he says, "You will always be my princess." They talk about a time when he was needed by her in order for her to go to sleep. He would be there to chase out the monsters or the dragon that was supposedly either hiding in the bed or in the closet and all that good stuff. So it was a good moment. We haven't seen that in a long time. Marty comes home to Smitty and catches him up on the family news. Smitty offers to reach out to a former story contact, a doctor at the world's largest cancer center. Maybe he can give him ammo to get Kat to change her mind and also to help out Anita. When Martin worries Vernon is hiding how much he's struggling, Smitty instructs him to worry about his granddad, and he'll worry about him. I'm telling you, you need a Smitty in your life. I know people are up in arms about it being an interracial relationship. I don't care. If the person's for you and that person can be there for you, you can be there for them. Whatever. When Bill accompanies Danny to her parents' house, Martin pulls his daughter aside. Vernon pulls his daughter aside to express concern about her bringing her ex home. She insists Bill just wants to express his sympathy, and Chelsea and Naomi need both of his parents. And that's all that it is. All alone in the living room, Bill commiserates with Anita. After his stroke, he felt helpless and vulnerable. Assuming that she feels the same way, he advises her to accept every bit of help that comes to her way, and to be selfish as she wants to be. No one will think any less of her. People want to help you, Anita. Let them. I think that was great advice. Tomas encounters a snarky Haley at the office, who takes him to task for not working harder even on New Year's Day. Like, you're just a paralegal. Who are you? Bill always knows who is working and who isn't. Tomas points out that sometimes something comes up that's more important than work. When Tomas does run into his boss, Bill is obviously understanding about his personal matter he was dealing with. Bill then faces a less understanding Haley, which leads him to tell her what's going on. And basically, I really married an immature brat. Selfish brat at that. Haley feigns surprise and regret over how she's been acting. And then he says, "You didn't know, baby." Ted texts Shanice to thank her for the great advice. She says, "Do you accept kisses as payments?" I said, "Lord." She replies with 3 laughing emojis. Ted then drops by Martin and Smitty's place to relay that they need to respect Kat's decision and to give her space to hopefully come around on getting tested. He's there for Martin too, no matter what. At home, Kat answers a check-in call from Tomas. She lies, claiming Chelsea just came home to get him off the phone. If you also notice that Kat was at her liquor cabinet ready to take a drink until that call came in. So again, she's going to be the one that's kind of going to be a certain way. But let me see if we talk a little bit more about Kat. But I am going to talk about Kat right now before we get to something very tearful and emotional driven. I think, as I said before, Kat is probably going to be a lot more erratic. She's going to be a lot more rebellious, doing things to the extreme, all to run out of fear of the things that she doesn't really want to confront, that may or may not even be an issue. I can see someone coming to her rescue. Now, I'm kind of thinking that they're going to try to link Eva and Kat together to try to finally bridge this craziness between them. Possibly that's going to happen, who knows. But I can see her getting really wild from this point on. So we shall see. After Anita heads upstairs, Danny inquires about Vernon's emotional state. Vernon tears up, admitting that he doesn't know how to fight this. Danny reminds him that he didn't know how to fight racism, but he showed up day after day, using his voice, his presence, and his refusal to back down. She reminds him he won't be alone because his daughters will be by his side. He fears a day he wakes up without Anita in their big old house, and he chokes up and crumbles into Danny's embrace. Because Danny did say, I know that you got to be strong for mom, and you can do that. Right here, if you can't show that to her, you can show your vulnerability to me. I will not be upset, so cry. And he broke down, and I loved it. I got emotional, but I loved it all the same. I got emotional when Anita was telling the children and all of that. It's been an emotional week. It's been good to see the Duprees at the forefront at this time. And everybody's like, well, why are y'all so concerned about the Duprees? You have to really go back and study when soap operas first became a thing. Go back and study Days of Our Lives. The Horton family were the main family for over 10 or so years. Of course, they had other characters along, but it was that family. That family was a hot mess. Now they're good residents, substantial residents. However, the good name, them children, the Horton children, they were something. They were something. You got to go read up on the history. They carried the 60s and the 70s. Then, of course, the Bradys came along and they became another family, and so on and so on and so on. But yeah, they carried it. A lot had to do with budget as to why they didn't have like a big cast or whatever, But yeah, so whatever. I think that they should be made be front and center. Of course, we can have other storylines. I'm interested in getting to these Hawthorns, and hopefully, we see the mother pretty soon, and even the older brother. I would love to see where that takes off to. But hey, anyways, that was this week's episode. We're done with season 1. Season 2 started on Friday, and it was episode 200. Can you believe 200 episodes have already passed through? There wasn't that much of a preview. However, there is a preview of some type of Mardi Gras celebration that they're going to be having. I think that's cool. There's a new cast member coming. So we shall see in the new year as to what is to happen. I do like the direction that Kat is going. I'm going to be on pins and needles to see how far over the edge or far to the edge that she goes with her fear. And again, people react differently. It's a trauma response. And then out of fear, you're going to react and do stuff that you don't normally do. So, but y'all tell me your highs and lows for this week, and what was your favorite? Did you cry and tear up? Let me know. But that's all I do have. Again, thank you for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Until the next one. Peace.